You are angry. You are upset. Passionate, wanting to win. Burning desire for victory. Burning anger for what is happening at 0-4 Sam Houston. Burning questions. Your burning questions answered tonight. Get in, sound off right now. The Bearkat Bites podcast is live. Go ahead. The links are in the description. We're the only year-round independent media that's covering Sam Houston 365 days a year. Maybe a few days not quite in there. Got to do anniversary stuff and life happens. And if you like what we do, go ahead and subscribe. You can do it for free. If you really like what we do, you can grab a free shirt. Not a free shirt, but shipping is free. But you can grab a shirt there in the links. You can also become a member of the tribe, so to speak. You can become a member for $50 a year. And if you do that, you're going to get this shirt and you're going to get a free holiday gift. You're going to get all of that stuff. So get in, sound off, let us know what's going on. You all keep us here. You all care about Sam Houston. And so here we are. Those links are in the description. Make sure you check it out. And we just want to go ahead and get right into it, man. Now, some of you all want to sit here and call me a unk. Some of you all want to sit there and say that. Well, let's sit on Unk's lap. Let me tell you a damn story. Once upon a time, before men got emotional and all this violence was happening, we did a thing called G-checking. And what that meant was if we saw a man slipping, it's like, hey, bro, you know, if he was kicking it with a woman, maybe he shouldn't. If he was somewhere, maybe he shouldn't be. His house a little dirtier than it should. Hey, man, you might want to pick this shit up. Hey, man, I wouldn't be telling it to you if I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? It's from a place of love. That's what man talk is about. This is a G-checking tonight of 0-4 Sam Houston. Feel free to get in. What's wrong with the program? What needs to change? What do you want to see? What do you want to see right now? Oh, and we're going to ask that question here down the line. Oh, believe that. Believe that, my friends. We will be asking that question. Not these previous questions, but we'll be asking that question. And I think you know which question I'm talking about. But right now, a lot of people are talking about, well, I thought a lot of people, they're saying, well, Longo's supposed to be the air raid guy. Longo's supposed to do this. You know, they're out here trying to say all of these different things. Well, he's known for the air raid. The receivers look bad. Nothing's looking good. What's happening? Go ahead. Fill those comments up. I want to deliver a couple of opening thoughts first. So the problem with this question is that you see down below is if you are Phil Longo, you want to run this certain system. First of all, we talked about how even when we start the season that he doesn't see it as a true air raid. It's not a true air raid. So you almost have to take that term out. And he gets frustrated. People ask him. I don't know if Phil Longo or anyone he knows watches or reads any of the material that you see down the links, our weekly newsletter, which you can subscribe to. I don't know if he reads that, but we've talked about it. We've talked about it to start the season. And if you've been there, and if you don't know that, well, hey, here you go. Phil Longo does not see his offensive scheme quite as the air raid that you think it is. You're thinking Texas Tech, okay? A lot of his running backs have gotten good yardage, and even now they've been pretty productive. The only good thing right now about the offense is the fact that I think they said the running backs are 8th and 9th in the country in running back receptions on the team. Something? Progress? You know, if you're one of those glass half full, orange-colored two things in the cats people, that's what you should throw in people's faces. 8th and 9th in the country, I believe, in receptions by running backs. So that's happening. So the running backs are productive. The problem is the receivers. The problem is the fact that the receivers coach started just basically 2 months ago. Now, think about Brian Hartline with Ohio State, okay? Think about Brian Hartline. Now, he's got all these different, people under him. He's Mr. Receivers at Ohio State. He's been there for years. Think about that continuity versus what this is. 2 months. And the receivers are looking like it's 2 months. Am I right? And then the left side of the offensive line, it's just terrible. Just terrible, 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 terrible stuff. Let's see what we've got here in the comments. I was expecting an offense similar to UNC when two backs. Well, that could happen. That could happen, but the problem is the offensive line, which you know what? Let me go ahead and grab that in here. Go ahead. You all sound off in the comments. Feel free. Let's see, where is that here? Let me go ahead and bring up this lower third. We wanted to talk about, kind of the lack of the running production. Is the offensive line really this bad? It's not good. It's very disappointing. It's very disappointing considering where we thought that this offensive line would be when the season started. It's very disappointing. They're not playing well. They're not playing well at all. They got to pick it up. Some of the slow start was the penalties to start against Western Kentucky because James Dawn didn't play. So James Dawn over to the right is fine. Colt Dietrich, he was mentioned this today at the press conference from Phil Longo, that he was fine. The left side, Luke Eckert, they got to pick it up. They got to pick it up on that left side. And the problem is you could probably go quick out, some West Coast stuff, just get the ball out, just get it quickly. But the receivers can't get open. That's the problem. You can't do a stretch to the left because the offensive line, they look lost. They look lost. And at times, some of y'all mentioned it, very uncoordinated, frankly. That left side has looked terrible. So when you're pretty much down a side, you got everybody knows that it's going here. So I don't know. Do you put in, do the running backs become just straight blockers now? Again, that takes out your running back production. It's very hamstrung. It's very hamstrung right now for Phil Longo. Oh, now some of you all talked about here third downs. Yeah, third downs are a big problem. Third downs are a huge problem. That I always tend to do more whole concepts and things, but the numbers don't lie. They're pretty pathetic. I think I wrote down after Texas. At one point, they were 5 for 44 on third down during the Texas game. Y'all want to see my notes against Texas? I got to write in burnt orange. Y'all can't really see it, maybe. I got to write all my notes in burnt orange. Look at these notes. Look at what $50 a month gets you. A guy taking these type of notes at a game that really was just roadkill for Texas, if we're honest. But we're doing that. We're doing that for you. And what I wrote down was 5 for 44 on third down. That's not good. That's going to have to improve, and that's got to pick up. And the big reason why, a lot of it is the quarterbacks. So a lot of you all wondering and thinking, can the quarterback situation get better this year? I don't know. That is the cold reality. I don't know. Can somebody run a viable offense? Possibly. Can they go vertical more like Phil Longo said he kind of wants to do? I don't know. I don't know about that because here's the problem. The honest thing is they've got to cut bait with Hunter Watson. They've got to, for the future health of the program, because in his place, you have to go ahead and just put in Mabry Matoyer and then Landon Locke. The alliteration brothers, you got to put those two in there. Almost in alphabetical order if you did them backwards. But yeah. You got to go ahead and just put them in. You got to cut bait and not maybe make a package or two for Hunter Watson, but it's going to look bad. He's the only one. Yes, it's going to look bad. Yes to the question of, is your quarterback room of the future going to get experience? Yes. And that is key right now. This is a whole thing under construction. And part of it is just tearing it down to the studs. You got to understand that. It's tearing it down to the studs. I was floored by the return of Hunter Watson. I was floored that no one else had been able to take the job from him. Phil Longo today, some of you all saw it. He said Hunter Watson is the starter. But he also said this. Some of you all are missing this. He said, but if somebody else or if a player gives us a reason that we need to go in a different direction, we're going to do that. So don't forget about that. Okay? It's still Hunter Watson short leash. Nothing has changed. Phil Longo is just tired of having to answer these extremely stupid questions. Phil Longo's really tired of having to do that. That's frankly what he's tired of having to do. Okay, Hunter Watson's a starter. The end. The end. Until something miracle happens that he hopes happens, actually, that he does hope will happen. But until such miracle arrives, Hunter Watson is a starter. So what does that mean for the team this year going forward? Well, if they want to let Hunter play the way that he did last year, that was enough to win a few games, but it also got him hurt. So you're kind of looking at the same situation with not quite as good, with not nearly as good a defense as last year's, especially in the secondary. You're looking at not as good a defense as last year, okay? You're looking at that. And you're also looking at, well, if Hunter gets hurt, well, Jace Bauer was okay. Are you willing to go? Are you okay with maybe Mattori and Landon Locke? And some of you, all, if you're a Hunter Watson fan, the answer to that is an emphatic no. So there's that. That's the question with that. Also, the defense. Sound off in the comments. Feel free. Also, the defense. Can the defense stop giving up big plays? Well, that's a function of, really how good can the pass rush get? Because, again, we've talked about it, but I'll tell you again, there is a talent deficiency issue in the secondary. That's why there's Sam Houston. If you look at all these defensive backs they've been signing in as far as high school recruiting, that's why. Some of these guys could probably start right now over what they've got, or at least be in the depth chart. Some of them could probably be in the 2 deep. Brody Henderson, freshman, by the way, out of Jinx, Oklahoma, he's not in the 2 deep, but he's been getting playing time. So it could happen for one of these guys next year. So they have to go ahead and make sure that the pass rush is good. Now, they sent 5 guys a couple times, 4 guys. Remember, we went from a world where they were going 3 rushes, maybe 4 against Western Kentucky, trying to see what they had in the secondary. Oh, that's not going to work. Then they kind of went 4s, kind of 3. Then Texas, it was 3, 4, 5. We saw 5. Okay, so we're going to see a few more rushes. I would bring down C.J. Brown. I bring C.J. Brown. Let him be Troy Polamalu. Why not? Dude, if you're not able to cover some of these guys, bring a corner blitz. I would try all of it. Try all of it, because that's really your only chance to stop, like Delaware and even Oregon State. There's still a couple of high-flying teams left. And that plan may have got you a win against Western Kentucky. Let's see what we got in the comments. The defense PFF grades really shocked. Yeah. A lot of stuff, man. Joe Swin might be the best cornerback. Wow. Didn't have that on the bingo card, but here the bleep we are. Here we are, man. That's why they play the game. And some of those surprises that I saw, to me that's what it is. That's why they play the game. The thing about Sam Houston is they are, if you all follow baseball, especially when I came of age in the 90s. Edwards is showing. Yeah. We got some agreement here. Yeah, sound off. What do you all think the defense should do? What the hell should that defense do? Because I keep going on these shows. I should keep going on these opposing, media-based shows saying, hey, the Sam defense is pretty okay, especially in the run game, but every score ends in the high 30s. What needs to happen for that to stop? Well, a lot of that is the offense, but they also got to get to the quarterback. Because while the offense isn't great on third down, the defense isn't that great either. But yes, Edwards is good. Exactly. So bring Edwards, just mix it in. Mix some of the blitzing in. That's what I'm saying. That is what I am saying. If they can stop giving up those big plays, they'll be all right. All right, here we go. Oh! Oh! Let me answer a comment. We're going to get to this one. Let's see. I think some of their stunts, along the D line have just been, let's see, taking the player out of the play. Let's see. Some of this stuff taken. As far as, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Elaborate here. Elaborate here. We'll talk about the defense a little bit more. Like I said, Brody Henderson, who hasn't graded pretty well, he's been getting some minutes. Tokyo Gordon, no, names have been there. Names have been there. The linebackers have been okay, But I'm not sure what you mean by your comment. If you elaborate, we can talk about that. I'd love to talk about that. I'd love to talk about it. This is a bend. It needs to be a bend. Here's what it says to me. It needs to be the Bearcat defense. It needs to be a bend but don't break defense. But it's bending and snapping. You know what I'm saying? And then the offense comes in and it's a clean break. That's really what the problem has been as far as Sam Houston. That's really what the entire problem has been. That's really what it's been. Let's see here. Let me go back here. Let me go back here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like when when he's crossing along the line. Yeah. He kind of does. I mean, I kind of get why they're doing it. I get it. Could cause a little confusion, you know what I'm saying? But just and they're trying to do some of that, I think, to make up for their lack of size. Because, honestly, this isn't the biggest defensive line. They're playing from a size standpoint, but they've got some skills. They can kind of move. So I guess Freddie Autry-Lindsey, the defensive coordinator, the thought is let's move. But, they're not, when they're moving along like that, they're taking them, they're not getting there quick enough. You got to, what I'm saying? You got to Aaron Donald that thing, well, he's not wasn't a defensive end, but you know what I mean? You got to kind of do that. And Sam Houston, I don't hate their approach, but I would just look at coming up straight and sending somebody else, maybe from the secondary. Yeah, but if you look at the Texas game, here we go. We're talking some defense now. Let's see what we got here. Again, it started off. It started off with rushing three. It started off because I think the program believed that, hey, maybe we got some decent guys in the secondary. And we brought in Freddie Autry-Lindsey, who at his base is a secondary coach. So maybe that can kind of look good. It's just kind of like Notre Dame. They've had some good guys in their secondary, and I believe Marcus Freeman, before he was a defensive coordinator at Cincinnati, was secondaries at some point. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. So that was the thought, but I digress. But that was the thought. And so, but now they've realized, okay, we got to kind of get some more pressure because these guys cannot guard the backfield. And so now, if you watch the Texas game, I saw a few times where there were 5-man rushes because I like you, also wanted to see what Texas, what was going to happen in the Texas game. Were they going to try to experiment with some blitz stunts, some packages? And the answer was, they're going to try some 5-man rushes. Like, okay, I don't mind that, but try some of those secondary guys who are going to get burned anyway. Maybe they can drop down and help. And if you go in the newsletter back in the offseason, I talked about that. It's like, hey, maybe some of these secondary guys you got that aren't as skilled, maybe just send them down, let them blitz. Jace Arnold, he's back there, let him blitz. If you're just going to keep him in there for a couple of plays to hide him for next year or whatever they're trying to do, hey, let them blitz, let them guard a play, let them play coverage, then let them blitz. Out the game, off you go. But yeah. And that's another problem. They sending some of those guys will bring the run lanes. So maybe you go Brian Flores. Maybe what you do is, you go back into coverage, send this guy down. Just confuse their offensive lines. Just Try confusion. At this point, try anything. You're 0-4. You're 0-4. You know, I'm not saying just do something completely different, just do crazy stuff. But there's certain things that, given your personnel, you can try. So again, you know, we'll see. I believe what Wednesday, October 2nd, right? I can never, these midweek games always get to me. As an aside, I believe it's October 2nd. Okay, so yes, it is on Thursday. Am I right about that, family? Let me see. Sam Houston, let's see, schedule. Let's see. Sorry about that. Let me see what we got here. Sam Houston football FBS schedule. Bear with me, family. October 2nd. Yeah, sorry about that. I figured it was Thursday. Yeah, thank you. Thursday. I've had these dates mixed up, like transitioning from September and October. It's always weird. It's always like middle of the week. It's always kind of strange. But I wanted to finish off with this tonight. You all been waiting for it. Is Phil Longo the right man for this job? Some of you all thought it. Some of you all have started to have, some of you all chirped it in the offseason. Now you all are starting to carnival bark it now that the team is 0-4. So do I believe as the observer and reporter that Phil Longo is the right man for this job? I don't know. I don't know, but let me tell you, my answer is much more nuanced than that, my friends. I don't know because, you know, again, it's all under construction. Now, when you go into a new house or a new building, you know, think about Bauer Stadium. It looks pretty on that picture, but you don't know what it's going to look like or feel like really until you get in it, right? Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be all right. You don't know that. Are you sure? How much are you willing to bet on that? No, put some money on that, you know? And I'm not saying that Bowers is going to be bad. I'm simply saying that you don't know how something's going to be until it is in its final form. This is far from Phil Longo's final form. I was talking with friends of the great Colin Neal there with Sports of Sam Houston Sports Talk, and we were I posted it to him about Phil Longo. I would kind of compare him to Steve Sarkisian. He was kind of taken aback, but I explained to him that Steve Sarkisian and Phil Longo both started in January. They both started after all of this signing period and things like that. You know, they had already moved the signing period, I believe, because that was a COVID thing, I think. I'm not sure, but I believe they had already moved the signing period to December by the time Sarkisian was hired. And even if they hadn't, you know, by that time, you already made the relationships. You got the class done. He's hired late. Phil Longo was hired late. Both of them were. Both of them had very, very poor seasons in year one. Both of them have had, and they are having poor seasons. Now, you could say, well, it was pre-NIL, is this, is that. You know, listen, I get that too. Sam Houston is the New York, you know, if you watch baseball, let me tell you this. I'm going to say I'm an unk again. In the 90s, when I was a kid, New York Yankees, you wasn't finna beat Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Andy Pettitte, Roger Clemens. You wasn't finna beat these guys because they spent big. They got all the free agents, all right? So, yeah, smaller teams like the Oakland A's, they had Billy Bean there running it. They had to do money ball. They had to, like, figure out creative ways to grow these players, and they eventually were competing with the Yankees. But the thing was, the Yankees were able to stay here, and they had to grow it again, you know, so there were ebbs and flows. Sam Houston is going to be still one of those old school ebb and flow teams where they've got to come in and bring in the talent. There's no NIL money to just go and buy a roster for Phil Longo. So he's got to do it through the high schools. Problem, as soon as he got hired, all the high schools, the kids you'd want out of high school, they're gone. It's January. They're about to sign it. They've already signed. They're gone. So, you know, so now what happens? This is your first real class for 2026, right? So now what? They've got to grow. You may not see a lot of them until 2027. So you've really got to look at it from that long view, you know. You almost have to table that question until 2027. Well, the offense isn't looking great. Well, we just talked about, we spent about 15, 20 damn minutes talking about why that is. And it goes back to they're not able to get the proper players that they want. Okay. And even Steve Sarkisian, the great Steve Sarkisian, all the resources and glamour and power and wealth and glitz of Texas had to kind of grind it out that first year. Even he had to do that. They were losing to damn Kansas and all of this nonsense. And I'm not saying Sam Houston's going to become some playoff team or anything, but 2027, can they be a bowl team? I mean, that's what this is. Welcome to the new world of FBS football, where you're hoping that your coach can win you 6 or 7 games and you can compete in Conference USA. That's the new world order right now, family. That is the new world order. And every few years, you can get that magical class. If you sign them right kids out of Texas, you can win the conference. That's what they're hoping this thing is. Okay? And you can get people to care about that. You can get people to win with that. But, that's going to take a while. That's going to take a while. I know the program, they're hiring new marketing people. They're going into different communities. They're doing all this different stuff. So that's happening. So we'll see. Let's see what we got here for the comments as we close out here. Ooh, it's been a long one. Liking the class right now, even though it's small. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's quality over quantity, right? Quality over quantity. And I'll say this again. So next year, and I know Phil Longo had to get everything settled and everything. Now that everything's going to be settled next summer, he needs to be at that high school coaches roundtable. Phil Longo needs to be there. He's one of the FBS coaches of Texas. That's how you start getting these guys to care about and go to your program. Okay? You might find a little 2-star kid that was overlooked. I mean, Cam Skataboo at the Giants, he was the one. I know Cam Ward was a 0-star. You just got to find him. You got to be good at finding them. It can happen. It has happened. So, we'll see. We'll see. Lots of excitement. Sam Houston starts their the meat of Conference USA season against New Mexico State on Thursday. We will have maybe we'll do a pregame. We'll do a pregame and we'll do a postgame. How about that? Would y'all like that? The game starts at 8. We'll do a pregame at 7 and we'll do a postgame at 8. I mean, after the game. What do y'all think about that? We'll do a pregame at 7. We'll all get ready. Not knock back a few beers. Some of you all do whatever illicit things you all need to do to get ready for the game. We ain't judging here. And after the game, we'll do a post game, and we'll talk and we'll do it like that. And then we'll take the weekend off. And that's one good thing about y'all can talk about Conference USA. Man, we done by Wednesday, Thursday, man. We done set up shop. I wrote my damn post game for you guys. Gave my position great. Me and wifey kicking it on the weekend. That's how we do. But you guys, make sure you all check out everything in the comments. Go ahead and get a Big Sam t-shirt. Get one for somebody else. They're right there. Links are in the description. Become a member. You can get this and you can get the holiday item that we have when you're a full-time, year-long member of Sam Houston football newsletter, our Bearkat Bites newsletter. Bearkat Bites newsletter. It's right there. And the links are in the description. All college football is good college football. We'll see you next time.